Oh, thank you very much. Needed that. What's that music? It's playing on the radio. So what's that music? Whoa, I hear it everywhere I go. And I don't think I've ever seen another music that could make me feel like that music is playing in my heart. From time to time, darkness come along to terrorize the weak and challenge the strong. Storm is coming, it grows on the waves. From Johannesburg to Montego Bay, what's that music? It's playing on the radio. What's that music? Whoa, I hear it and I got to know. And I don't think I've ever heard a sweeter feeling in the whole wide world than that music is playing in my heart. And justice is coming on the winds of the storm. We resisting the present for those who get unborn. Freedom is spreading its wing like a bird. The message it carries has got to be heard. What's that music playing on the radio? Hey, what's that music? Whoa, playing everywhere I go. I don't think I've ever heard a sweeter feeling in the whole wide world than that music playing in my heart. Yeah, I forget what Washington did on the Potomac. This is the Potomac. Black folks would sometimes refer to that as the Potomac. You see, but this is the Potomac. I saw a duck floating out there a little while ago. Somebody said, yeah, but Reagan is in charge. We're all ducks. Dead ducks, you dig it? Symbols of democracy are pinned against the coast. The outhouse of bureaucracy surrounded by a moat. Citizens of poverty are barely out of sight. The overlords escape near evening, the brothers on the night. Morning come and bring the tourists straining rubbernecks. Perhaps a glimpse of the cowboy making the world a nervous wreck. It's a massive irony for all the world to see. It's the nation's capital, it's Washington, D.C. It's the nation's capital, it's the nation's capital. It's the nation's capital, it's Washington, D.C. If I had to define myself, and people often ask me, you know, what it is that I do, I would have to say that I am a bluesologist. And this is a scientist concerned with the origins of the blues. Like, you know it's a science as soon as you see the ology on the end of it. This makes everything scientific. The way that I got my background and the things that make me qualified for this is that, first of all, I was born in Chicago. And before I moved to D.C., I've been living in D.C. now for about 10 years, but before I moved to D.C., I was certain that the only way you could get a head start on everybody else in terms of the blues was to be born in Chicago. It was like we went through Chicago about 6 weeks ago. They said it was 2 degrees and they were looking for them. So it's definitely the blues in Chicago. When I was 8 months old, I escaped bag and baggage to a town called Jackson, Tennessee. And Jackson, Tennessee, for those of you who do not know, is located about 85 miles east of Memphis. I was also about 50 miles north of Mississippi. There's nothing we could do about that. We thought about moving to town. Because they see, like when I was growing up, they used to have this old joke, says, what has 4 eyes and will never see? And the answer was always Mississippi. Because most folks felt that Mississippi was the home of the blues. And when I was being raised down there, the people that we listened to on the radio, like the folks be listening to popular people now, were the bluesicians. John Lee Hooker, Earl Hooker, Jimmy Reed, Jimmy Witherspoon, Lightning Hopkins, B.B. King. These were the people everybody kept up with, and the blues was the music of the day. When I was 13, I moved to New York City, and I walked around for about 6 months like, I couldn't believe New York City, but they was zipping every which way simultaneously. Somebody told me the other night, if you gave people from New York some speed, they would all go into a nod. Couldn't make it. Too low key for them. I mean, I still feel the same way. I just learned to keep my mouth closed. They still be amazing the hell out of me. But when you move somewhere, the first thing that you try to do is get in touch with the music, find out where the music is you're going to be grooving on. So I set the radio up, turned all the way down to the right, over there where they keep the black people's music. That's just a coincidence. Everywhere you go, we be over in this corner here. Somewhere north of 13, you'll find. Turn it over there. And I couldn't find no black music. I could not find the blues. I was wondering what the hell was going on. I said, well, I come from Jackson, Tennessee, and this is New York. Maybe I need a longer radio. I turned B.B. King, I knew was right over there, over on the other side of 16. So I went out in the street, and I run into one of the brothers on the avenue, and I said, brother, look here, what's happening? Where can I find the blues? He said, well, hell, you don't have to do nothing, just stand here. In New York City, shit, you don't have to be Sherlock Holmes. Find the blues, it'll find you. Did a poem called Painted Black. Because people used to ask me what the difference was between Jackson, Tennessee and New York City, and I'd say about 500-600 miles. Truth was, it went a whole lot deeper than that. And the description of the poem went something like this. Picture a man of nearly 30 who appears twice as old with clothes torn and dirty. Give him a job shining shoes or cleaning out toilets with bus station crews. Give him 6 children with nothing to eat and expose them to life on a ghetto street. Tie an old rag around his wife's head and have her pregnant, lying in bed. Stuff all 8 of these people in a D.C. house and then tell them how bad things are down south. That was Painted Black. Got a rhythm coming through here, y'all. Come on, have a second. Say, brother living in a cell and doing time at the county jail. Now you might think your life is hell, but he told me that's the first room he ever had to himself. Stop and think about it, waiting for the axe to fall. And sometimes, Lord, I think that's all. Said when your head is in noose and won't nobody turn loose, you're waiting for the axe to fall. And say, what I want to say. Brother served in Vietnam. They found out no one gives a damn. See, the Agent Orange fell on his cam. Brother's jaws was tight. And got the brother looking for Uncle Sam. And he ain't saluting no more. Waiting for the axe to fall. And sometimes, Lord, I think was examining the threads of her life. She never thought she'd be cheating in line to make sure her and the kids survive. She'd do anything, waiting for the axe to fall. And sometimes, Lord, I think that's all. Said when your head is in the noose and won't nobody turn you loose, you're waiting for the axe to fall. Need one more scene. I should. Said someone grabbed her pocketbook. She feel like she ain't safe in the neighborhood. Too many guns up to no good. They're sick and tired of waiting for the axe to fall. And sometimes, Lord, I think that's all. Said when your head is in the noose and won't nobody turn you loose, you're waiting for the axe to fall. And seem like we're waiting, standing around and waiting, worried but we're waiting, no better than waiting. Seem like we're waiting, seem like we're waiting, seem like we're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, waiting for the axe to fall. And sometimes, Lord, I think that's all. Said when your head is on the block and ain't no way for you to stop, you're waiting for the axe to fall. And seem like we're waiting, standing around and waiting, nervous but we're waiting, no better than waiting. Seem like we're waiting, seem like we're waiting, seem like we're seem like it, seem like it, seem like it. Are we waiting for the axe to fall? And sometimes, Lord, I think that's all. Said when your head is in the noose and won't nobody turn you loose, you're waiting for the axe to fall. Very much. Waiting for the axe to fall. It may not have the glitter or the glamour of LA. It may not have the history or the intrigue of Bombay. But when it comes to making music instead of making news, or people who just don't make sense and people making do, seems a mass of contradictions pulling different ways between who have come and go and the ones who got to stay. It's a massive irony for all the world to see. It's the nation's capital, it's Washington, D.C. It's the nation's capital, it's the nation's capital, it's the nation's capital, it's Washington, D.C. So I wanted to contribute myself. I was writing down and putting all the categories together. I ain't got no money, I ain't got no job blues, I ain't got no woman blues. And then I said, wait a minute, see, I don't want to waste no categories. I ain't got no money blues, I ain't got no job blues, I ain't got no woman blues. Hell, them the same thing. Because if I could get me a job, I could make me some money, I could call me a lady. I'd be doing a whole bunch better. So I put them all in the same category. But I wrote other pieces of blues information. Because what had happened was that I had found out later on, unfortunately, in my education about people like Langston Hughes, about people like Sterling Brown, about people like County Cullen and Gene Toomer and Claude McKay. And these people had taken the blues as a poetry form back in the 20s and the teens during the Harlem Renaissance, and they had fine-tuned the blues. They had sanded it down so that it became a remarkable sort of an art form. But what happened is that in many instances, we didn't learn about that. We learned about the kind of poetry that nobody could understand. Like on 17th Street, 9th Avenue, when I was a teenager, man, we didn't want to hear nothing about poetry. Somebody say something about poetry, we say, oh yeah, where's he at? Bring him on over here. Because we was into shooting the jumper, and that was damn near all. So in the 9th grade, like a teacher sneaked up on us and put these pieces of paper on the table, told everybody to read them, and then tell her what we thought about it. So I said, well, it's all right. Shit, I'll try it. I looked at the poem said, what now outside the wall I see, a shadow of an image me. I said, well, God damn, let me read this again. What now outside the walls? In the back of the room, somebody said, hey, this must be deep. Because you know, like, this must be deep is like a drape that we throw over everything, you know, like what we must be, this must be deep means that, like, I recognize all of these words individually. But damn if I can get anything out of the order in which they currently appear. This must be deep. I mean, because you figure it must be deep, it's in this book. You say, well, why the hell would they put it in this book if it didn't mean nothing? Because ordinarily you read that, don't mean nothing to you. You say, hey, this must be nonsense. But you don't want to say that with the teacher standing right next to you. Why you give me this, you know? So you say, hey, this must be deep. And what happens is that when a lot of folks get ready to write poetry, that's what they decide they're going to be, deep. They decide they're going to be poetic. So they come up to me, people come up to me sometimes and say, hey, read my poem. I read it. What now outside the wall I see. And the only thing I can say to them is, hey, this must be deep. Because like being influenced by the kind of poetry that we were all introduced to, people feel as though like the way to be poetic is to make sure that there's certain little parts of it can't nobody understand. Why would you need a poet to make things more complex? Two winos can make things more complex. One of them say to the other one, well, is it, well, is that, and the other one look at him right serious and say, yeah. And they communicated. You see, if communication is what it's all about. As far as most people sitting around watching it could have been two poets talking to one another. They didn't have a clue. So the idea became not only to use ideas that were familiar to people in the community, but to use the language that everybody could understand. Of course, this poetry was always put down as street poetry because, of course, that's where the people were. People were on the street, and these were the people that you wanted to communicate with. Did an idea one time about how often it is that folks brother and sister one another, and how rare it is that something actually comes out of that people can grasp onto. Did a poem about the fact that oftentimes the people who are doing the most talking and the kind of conversations that you run into around this neighborhood should be the ones doing the most listening. The poem we did was called Billy Green is Dead. The economy is in an uproar. The whole damn country is in the red. The taxi fares is going up. What? You say Billy Green is dead. The government can't decide on busing, or at least that's what they said. Yeah, I heard you when you told me. You said that Billy Green was dead. But let me tell you about these hot pants that this big leg sister wore when I was partying the other night. What you say? Billy took an overdose. Well, now, junkies will be junkies, but did you see Gunsmoke last night? Man, they had themselves a shootout and folks was dying left and right. At the end, when Matt was cornered, I had damn near give up hope. Why you keep on interrupting me? You say my son is taking dope. Well, then call the law and call the doctor. What you mean I shouldn't scream? My only son is on narcotics. Should I stand here like I'm pleased? Is that familiar to anybody? Check out what's inside your head, you see. Never seems to matter when it's Billy Green who's dead. We'd like to include y'all in on a party if we could. Brother Robert Gordon, who is our Secretary of Entertainment, has been responsible for the vibe-mosphere. It's a combination of the vibrations and the atmosphere, you see, that permeates everything. Truth is that sometimes the rhythm be to establish the party. And we do have parties from time to time. In case there are those of you who did not receive your invitation, would have read something like this. Brother Robert G is the man to see about the RSVP. Wanna party, party, party. Brother Robert G is the man to see about the RSVP. Wanna party, party, party. See, we like to have the kind of parties where everybody can BYOT, you know, bring your own thing. And we don't like to place too many restrictions on folks, but we do like to say you got to beware of skull and crossbones. You see, the skull and crossbones can sneak up on you sometimes. You at the party laying back being cool as you like to do most of the time. All of a sudden there's a hint of a scent of mint moving through the air. Skull and crossbones. You see, the only thing that we have against skull and crossbones really is street corner chemistry. Street corner chemists are most responsible for amnesia. When they put that shit together, they can't seem to remember if it was supposed to be a little bit of this and a little bit of this and a lot of that. Or was that a lot? Brother Robert G's man, see mother RSVP, want a party with no AD. Got to read the fine print on the invitation. It goes something like this. Brother Robert G's man, see about the RSVP, you want a party with no AD. Because AD is what we remember as skull and crossbones. Used to be BC and AD. That was the way folks described the world. BC was before Christ and AD was after the death, but AD has gone through changes. Now skull and crossbones remembers you of trying to unlock doors that you thought were somewhere behind you. Trying to climb stairs that just seem to go up and up and up. Might have to bring you a description that reads something like this to remind you that cracks in the sidewalk seem to expand. I can't get over, it must be dust. Flowers on the wallpaper change the size and color. Oh brother, it must be dust. Got my back against the wall. I know there's no one there at all, but I'm looking. Does it make me remember conversations between me and me and me and does We'd like to have Brother Robert Gordon, the Secretary of Entertainment, bring you a little bit of the melody, because we'd like to have y'all help us with a song that we're going to do. We'd like to have the chairman of the Vibmosphere come together. The song is called Angel Dust. Got their part. Angel Dust. Second time we get to two, we're gonna be looking for everybody to help us out a little bit. So 1, 2, 1, 2. One time, say. Angel Dust. Looking for the harmony this time, y'all. Say. Angel. He was grooving, and that was when he could have sworn the room was moving. Hey, but that was only in mind, he was sailing. Never really seemed to notice vision failing. Hey, 'cause that was all part of the high. Sweat was pouring, and he couldn't take it. The room was exploding, and might not make it. Say, angel God, struck in to say, somebody help. Angel God, it don't mean nobody no good. Angel God, and you won't remember what you're missing, but down some dead end street, there ain't no turning back. Woo, you never get away. Sometimes been sneaking up on the system. They were standing, well, everybody in a circle, the whole family. Yes, and listen to the preacher's word. Sis was crying, 'cause she alone knew the secret about his dying. You see, tears falling to earth, and maybe her fall. He was so trusting, and God only knew why. They were dusting, angel struck again and say, somebody help. Angel, it don't mean nobody no good. You won't remember what you're missing, but down some dead end street, there ain't no turning back. Ooh, you never get away from dust. Say, somebody need to tell my brother about dust. And I ain't trying to run your life, believe me, dust. You do it long, and it sure enough do you wrong. Down some dead end street, there ain't no turning back to back to back or away from dust. Say, and somebody need to tell my sister about dust. It don't mean nobody no good nowhere. Say, dust, mess with it long, and it sure enough do you wrong. Down some dead end street, ain't no turning back. Hey, D. Thank you very much. Whether you're on a tour of Washington, let me tell you, those tours are always the same. They bring you around to places like this. They might even tell you who the jackass is on the horse or the guy up on top of the building, but they never show you the real Washington. You should have been around maybe the 15th of January. That's when Stevie Wonder was holding this rally. It was about 50,000 people gathered there. They were trying to demonstrate and make Dr. King's birthday a national holiday. But it's always the same. The Capitol, the Hoover Building. Maybe sometimes they would even show you the Washington Monument. But that's not a look at the real Washington. The one I'd like to show you is something special. You want to see what's happening in the nation's capital? Come with me. You see, most of the things that happen in the nation's capital happen in neighborhoods just like this. And unfortunately, these are the neighborhoods that the people from Omaha and the people from Kansas and the people from out in Indiana and Ohio never get a chance to see. So when there are protests and demonstrations and expressions of concern by members of communities like this, people in the Midwest and other places who've been to the nation's capital, they say, why, those people in D.C., they're living so good, they have it so great, what could they possibly be demonstrating about? It's because the tourmobile takes you to Georgetown. The tourmobile takes you to the Gold Coast. The tourmobile never comes down to 10th and V, 10th and W. Tourmobile never gets over here into the heart of the city, and therefore never has any real contact with the people who are the lifeblood of this city. Seemed to me, spent a lifetime, late one night, up on 14th Street. Made me feel always the right time, 'cause them people sure enough be loving me. Didn't make but one second to none. See, it's the nation's capital. It's the nation's capital. It's the nation's capital. It's Washington, D.C. We wrote a song for the new album that has raised a certain number of questions, particularly about the former mayor of Philadelphia, whose name was Frank Rizzo. The song that we wrote was called Gun. And it had a lot to do with Mayor Rizzo, rest in pieces. We say that because we're so glad he ain't the mayor no more. Frank Rizzo got on TV one time and said he was going to collect all the handguns, personally, damn near. And that what he was going to do was he was going to put up these cardboard boxes at the fire stations. And when you was in the neighborhood and had a minute, you're supposed to come out there and drop your piece off in the box. So in the course of about 6 weeks, he had one gun that he had collected, and it was in bad need of repair. So they went down in South Philadelphia and they asked the brothers down there exactly what the situation was. Had they heard what the mayor said and this, that, and the other? And they said, yeah, they heard. And that as soon as the police turned their guns in, you should come back and ask them about it again. So we would like to do a song for you about the American streets. The song is called Gun. Brother man nowadays living in the ghetto, where the danger's shown up for real. Well, if he's out late at night, if he's got his head on right, I lay you 9 to 5, he's walking with steel. Brother man said he's afraid of gangsters, said messing with people just for fun. Yes, and he don't want to be next, he's got a family to protect. So just last week he bought himself a gun, and everybody got a pistol. Everybody got a 45. Yeah, but lots of it seem to be, at least as near as I can see. When the other folks give up theirs, I'll give up mine. This is a violent civilization. If civilization's where I am, cause every channel that I stop on got a different kind of cop on, and killing them by the million for Uncle Sam. But Saturday night just ain't that special. Yeah, I got the Constitution on the run. Even though we got the right to defend our home, defend our land, got to understand and get it in the hand about the gun. Cause everybody got a pistol, everybody got a 45. Yeah, but lots of it seem to be, at least as near as I can see. When the other folks give up or give up or give up, I'll give up, I'll give up and say. Freedom to be afraid is all you want. You said you don't want to be next, might have a family to protect. 9 out of 10, you need a friend, you call a gun, and everybody got a pistol. Everybody got a 45, 38, 22, warning you, but lots of it seem to be, at least as near as I can see. When other folks give up theirs, I give up mine, and everybody got a pistol. This must really be the NRA. Yeah, cause when it's time to sign up, you know damn well they're gonna line up everybody, everybody's There are some ghosts of America's past, naturally. People who have been building blocks to the history of this country. And we haven't seen very much of them so far on our tour. But believe you me, as soon as we take a turn around another one or two of these corners, I'm going to take you to a place where all of them are still, well, I couldn't say alive and well, because even when they're alive, a lot of them wasn't doing that well. But at the very least, I can say that we can show you some of the symbols of the things that we consider when we talk about the history of this particular nation. Come on, let's go. Yeah, they told me this would be quite a surprise. Because things have changed here over the last 2 centuries. It seems as though things have gone even a little bit further than from Plymouth Rock to Acid Rock. You know, there are lots of pieces of American history here. Betsy Ross, I suppose, dealing with the flag. I once heard a suite one time that was written by a guy whose idea was called "How Much Nicer It Might Have Been If Plymouth Rock Had Landed on the Pilgrims." Well, I don't know if I agree with all that, but there are certain indications of a long past America here. The clock, the photographs, the ships. But what I really wanted to talk about was something of a new nature, at least in terms of our perspectives of ourselves. Take, for example, this guy standing over here in the corner. A lot of us will recognize him. Did a poem one time called The Watergate Blues. And in the Watergate Blues, hey, straighten it up over here. In the Watergate Blues, one of the big lines that we delivered was that if Nixon knew, Ag knew. Question was, who was around where Hale Boggs died, and what was the cause of LBJ's untimely demise? And what really happened to J. Edgar Hoover? The king is proud of Patrick Gray, while America's faith is drowning beneath a cesspool called Watergate. The candle was passed on from Nixon to Oatmeal Man, you see. As a matter of fact, when Oatmeal Man inherited the presidency some few years ago, well, matter of fact, he looks a little bit more on the job now than he did while he was president. Spent a brief time in the White House and then passed it on to Skippy, who was the victim, or at least the guy who came in second in the last election, collecting 21% of the registered votes.
It's a massive irony for all the world to see. It's the nation's capital, it's Washington, D.C. It's the nation's capital, it's the nation's capital, it's the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. It's the nation's capital, it's the nation's capital, it's the nation's capital, it's Washington, D.C.
From the Indians who welcome the pilgrims, and to the buffalo that once ruled the land. Like the vultures circling beneath the dark clouds, looking for the rain. Yes, they've been looking for the rain. Just like the city, the stagger on the coastline, living in a nation that just can't take much more. Like the forest they buried beneath the highway, never had a chance to grow. Well, they never had a chance to grow. And now it's winter. It seems like winter in America. It's a time when all of the hills done been kicked and been betrayed. Yeah, even though it's something wrong, everybody ought to know. Seems like winter in America. The truth is
Constitution was a noble piece of paper, and with free society, well, they struggled but they died in vain. And now democracy is ragtime on the corner, unemployed, and I'm hoping that it rains. Yes, it's been a hoping for some rain, but it just don't look like rain. I've seen the robin perched in barren treetops, watching the last-ditch races marching across the floor. And like these signs that melted in our dreams and never had a chance to blow. Well, they never had a chance to grow. If somebody wants to know, tell them it's a winter. Nothing grows in winter in America. It's a time when all of the heroes done been killed, or they've been betrayed. Say, people know it's something wrong here, and they feel like it seems like winter in America. Yes, well, the truth is there's nobody fighting because, well, nobody knows what to say. The sisters save the babies. Winter in America. Now it's winter. It's cold, it's winter in America. Yes, it's a time when all of the healers, brothers who could help us, done been killed. They put them in jail. Hey, people know it's something wrong. Everybody ought to know winter. It seems like winter in America. Yes, well, the truth is there ain't nobody fighting because, well, nobody knows what to say. lot of people may well see this particular gentleman as someone who makes an appearance either in a supporting or non-supporting role in many of the poems that I do. The truth is that the politics that we discuss are not partisan politics in terms of Democrat or Republican. I am a member of the Common Sense Party. And for the longest count of a time, I have felt as though people who said that they did not care anything about politics or were not interested in it were making a political statement in and of itself. The new poetry that evolved in our society concerned the fact that folks wanted to use both words that people could understand as well as talk about ideas that people could understand. One such poem, at least an early poem of ours that went in that direction, concerned the fact that millions and millions of dollars are continually sent into outer space while we continue to face the same problems here on the ground. Poem said, a rat done bit my sister Nell with Whitey on the moon, and her face and arms began to swell, and Whitey's on the moon. I can't pay no doctor bills, but Whitey's on the moon. 10 years from now, I'll be paying still while Whitey's on the moon. You know, the man just upped my rent last night because Whitey's on the moon. No hot water, no toilets, and no lights, but Whitey's on the moon. I wonder why he's upping me. Because Whitey's on the moon? I was already giving him $50 a week, and now Whitey's on the moon. Taxes taking my whole damn check. The junkies make me a nervous wreck. The price of food is going up. And as if all that crap wasn't enough, a rat done bit my sister Nell with Whitey on the moon. Her face and arms began to swell, and Whitey's on the moon. Was all that money I made last year for Whitey on the moon? How come I ain't got no money here? Whitey's on the moon. You know, I just about had my fill of Whitey on the moon. I think I'll send these doctor bills, air mail special, to Whitey on the moon. We have done a number of songs, we hope, that have strengthened our connection with the third world, because it seems as though oftentimes there are attempts to split us up, divide and conquer, keep us at odds with one another so that we never define the things that we have in common. But we have more things in common than we do that separate us. The song that we wrote was about people who are sometimes referred to as aliens, or worse still, illegal aliens. And we have insisted that this is to differentiate them from folks who have come here from Mars legally. And these are folks who in our song come across near Tijuana or the Rio Grande. They're brought into this country by coyotes, people smugglers. They're forced to pay mordida, the bribes, to keep from being turned into immigration. And when they do that, they're called pollos, chickens, ripe for the plucking. Sometimes these folks come into this country with only their dreams of doing better and the clothes they got on their back. And this is what we have in common with them. The reason we get up every day and decide to try it again is because we have dreams of doing better. The song is about holding on to your dreams. We call the song Alien. We got a little something to help us out with this salsa scene. Mi amigos en la calle, dígame otra vez, uno más por favor, como otra vez con la ritma. Midnight near the border, trying to cross the Rio Grande, running with coyotes, where the streets are paved with gold, diving underwater when you hear the helicopters, knowing it's all vainless and worthless if you run into patrols, hiding in the shadows, so scared that you won't scream, but you dare not make a sound if you want to hold on to your dream. Hold on. May not be a lot, but just hold on. 'Cause you know it's all you got. No matter the consequences or the fear that grips your senses, well, you have got to hold on to your dream. Going into L.A., the city of the angels, with its bright light fascination, only add to the confusion. take advantage when they know that you're illegal. But you a boy like police see ya, like a plague that can't be cured. They ain't no more data, you find out just what's on your man. But you dare not find complaints if you want to hold on to your dreams. Hold on. Somebody here, man. May not be a lot, but hold on. Cause you know it's all you got. No matter the consequences, all the fear that you're so sincere. You have got to hold on to your dreams. Down in the Western Union, sending cash back to your family, or drinking out some vessels where the lights are very low. Your mind may start to wonder when you think about your village, or the woman that you love so much, who's still in Mexico. At just $2 an hour, there is little to redeem this life. Something in your mind, you're trying to hold on to your dreams. Hold on, everybody. May not be a lot, but hold on. Cause you know it's all you got. No matter the consequences, or the fear that grips so sensitive. Well, you have got to hold on to your dreams. Need everybody to sing with us. Hold on. Oh, y'all sing. May not be a lot, but hold on. Cause you know it's all you got. No matter the consequences, or the fear that grips so sensitive. You have got to hold on to your dreams. Want people to sing with us, come on. Hold on, may not be a lot. May not be a lot, but hold on. You know it's all you got. Cause you know it's all you got. No matter the consequences, or the fear that the grip so sensitive. Well, you have got to hold on to your dream. Come on, help us out, y'all. Hold on, may not be a lot. May not be a lot, but hold on. Know it's all you got. Cause you know it's all you got. No matter the consequences, all the fear that it gets so sensitive. Well, you have got to hold on to your dreams. A little bit louder, y'all. Hold on. May not be a lot, but hold on. Cause you know it's all you got. No matter the consequences, all the fear that gets so sincere. You have got to hold on to your dream. I need y'all on there. Hold on. May not be a lot, but hold on. Cause you know it's all you got. No matter the consequences, all the fear that is so sincere. You have got to hold on to your dream.
I was wondering about our yesterdays and digging through the rubble. And to say the least, somebody went to a hell of a lot of trouble to make sure that when we looked things up, we wouldn't fare too well. And we would come up with totally unreliable pictures of ourselves. But I've compiled what few facts I could, such as they are, to see if we could find out a little bit of something. And this is what I got so far. First, white folks discovered Africa. They claimed it fair and square. Cecil Rhodes couldn't have been robbing nobody because, hell, there wasn't nobody there. And white folks brought all the civilization because there wasn't none around. How could the folks be civilized when wasn't nobody writing nothing down? And just to prove all of their suspicions, well, didn't take too long. They found out that there were whole tribes of people in plain sight running around with no clothes on. That's right. The men, the women, the young, and the old righteous folks covered their eyes. And no time was spent considering the environment. Hell no, this just wasn't civilized. And another piece of information they had, or at least this is what we were taught, is that unlike the civilized people of Europe, these tribal units actually fought. And yes, there was some crude implements, and yes, there was primitive art, and yes, they were masters of hunting and fishing, and courtesy came from the heart. And yes, there was love and medicine, religion, intertribal communication by drum, but no paper, no pencils, and no other utensils, and hell, these folks never even heard of a gun. And this is why the colonies came, to stabilize the land, because the dark continent had copper and gold, and the discoverers had themselves a plan. They would discover all the places with promise. You didn't need no titles and deeds.
Then they would appoint people to make everything legal, to sanction the trickery and greed. And back in the jungle, when the natives got restless, they would call it guerrilla attack. And they would never describe that the folks finally got wise and decided that they would fight back. And still, we are victims of word games. Semantics is always a bitch. Places once referred to as underdeveloped are now called mineral rich. And the game goes on eternally. Unity kept just beyond reach. Egypt and Libya used to be in Africa. They've now been moved to the Middle East. There are examples galore, I assure you. But if interpreting were left up to me, I'd be sure every time folks knew this version wasn't mine, which is why it is called His Story. One of the first songs that I wrote when I moved here was a song that concerned it concerned the 5 nations in southern Africa that were looking for liberation at the time. They were Angola, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and Azania. And of course, since we have done those songs, 3 of those nations have claimed independence, and we feel as though the other 2 are on the edge, on the border. There are folks who are struggling in Namibia and Southwest Africa, and constant reports that would encourage people who are supporters of the Southern Africans are suppressed to make us feel as though there's nothing going on. But as long as people want to have freedom and want to have liberation, there will be things going on, and we need to keep the faith and keep the candle burning. When we say what's the word, we would like to have everybody join us and say Johannesburg. Can we get everybody? Now, we don't want to have it sneak up on y'all, so when we say what's the word, we want to look at everybody say Johannesburg. Can we get it all? 1, 2, and you know what do. Tell me what's the word? Tell me, brother, have you heard from Johannesburg? Somebody tell me what's the word? Tell me, woman, have you heard about Johannesburg? They tell me that our brothers are over there are to find a man. And we don't know for sure, because the news we get is of a lava man. Walls of concrete. Yes, I hate it when the blood starts flowing, but I'm glad to see resistance growing. Somebody tell me what's the word? Tell me, brother, have you heard from Johannesburg? Somebody tell me what's the word? Tell me, woman, have you heard about Johannesburg? They tell me that our brothers are over there, fuse the work in the mind sometimes. They may not get the news, but they need to know we're on their side full time. Yeah, now sometimes just to bring misunderstanding, yeah, but deep in my heart I'm demanding now. Somebody tell me what's the word? Tell me, brother, have you heard from Johannesburg? A lot of people talking ain't saying what I want to hear. What's the word? Tell me, woman, have you heard about Johannesburg? Said, I know that they're struggling over there, that ain't gonna free me. Well, not entirely. Yeah, but we fought harder. Got to be struggling. Say, if we wanna be free, just wanna be free, 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 free. You keep me feeling loud. See, my office used to be right down here on the corner of 9th and W. And when I would tell people I was at 9th and W, they'd say, man, ain't that a rough neighborhood? I said, yeah, it is pretty rough. But it ain't as rough as 11th and W, and it ain't even as rough as 16th in Pennsylvania. But I feel like the people who got to live over there, they really in trouble. Everybody gets to look at the White House when they come to Washington, D.C. But this is a part of what goes on out in front of the White House that very few people ever get a chance to take a look at. Across the street, they're demonstrating for world peace. Over here, you have different signs that have been sentenced to the star of our B movie, asking them about justice and freedom and equality. You know, the protests that are launched in this country are not launched necessarily against the government. They're launched in terms of the fact that this country has rarely lived up to its advanced publicity. This is supposed to be the land of justice, liberty, and equality, and that's what everybody over here is looking for.
Morning come and bring the tourists, painting rubbernecks. Perhaps a glimpse of the cowboy making the world a nervous wreck.
You know, the question is not actually who the baddest hombre is in these parts, because I think I'm the one. But it has a lot to do with the difference between the Old West and the New West and the way it is perceived. Because you see, there are a lot of folks in America who are refusing to recognize the fact that today is actually today. Times have changed, but very few folks in America have.
We would like to do a tune for you. Actually, the tune was put together a little over a year ago. And the problem, well, there were several. But the main problem was what we was going to call the tune. And after we had put the tune together and looked at it, like, we decided we was going to call it Real to Real. This is going to be R-E-A-L to R-E-E-L. And that was certainly going to be the max. And then we said, no, might be some people that don't get it. So we decided we was going to call the tune From Real to Surreal. And we was going to draw a lot of lines under surreal so everybody would know that that was the main one. Then we said, no, that may not get it. Then we decided that we were going to call this particular idea From Shogun to Raygun. That covered everything that we wanted to talk about. Because, see, the news was loose about the mandate. A mandate would be indicating a majority, an overwhelming majority, as a matter of fact, a landslide. A majority of such force that it entitled the holder of this mandate to change everybody's life 180 degrees. So we went down in the community down on 7th Street, told some of the brothers they had been a mandate for Raygun. And he said, oh yeah? What was the final score? So they said, well, 26% of the registered voters voted for Raygun. And they said they would have been more impressed if it had been 26% of the American people. And then we said, well, Skippy come in second with 21% of the registered voters. And that among all the other people who was running also at the same time, they gathered about 2% altogether. First thing that the brothers noticed was that 51% of the registered voters had voted for nobody. And as far as they were concerned, that indicated that nobody should be the president. That 74% of the registered voters had not voted for Raygun, which indicated a mandate in the other direction. And after a few months of dealing with Raygun and his administration, they have come back to me and said, yeah, it's true. Nobody is the president. See, a lot of folks believe that this was the first time we had ever done anything on Raygun. That's not true. We had done several things. We did a poem one time called The Bicentennial Blues. And we referred to Raygun as Hollyweird. Acted like an actor, acted like a Democrat, acted like a liberal. When he was acting like the head of the Screen Actors Guild, this is a position currently held down by a man named Ed Asner.
During the late 40s, Ronald the Reagan was the head of the Screen Actors Guild, and it was his job to defend people like Dalton Trumbo or David Susskind from the rages of McCarthyism. That was when they were looking for reds under the corners of every carpet. Decided he was going to act like a Republican. Acted like General Franco when he acted like governor of California. Heard the conservatives was on the way in and acted like one of them. Showed up in 1976 acting like somebody was going to vote for him for president. And showed up in 1980 acting like 26% of the registered voters was actually a mandate. Got all of us acting in this one, actually. The truth is that at least 26% of the registered voters don't want to deal with tomorrow. They are holding on to some image of America's past. But America has changed in the last 20 years from a producer to a consumer. And all consumers know that when the producer names the tune, the consumer has got to dance. That's the way it is. You don't believe it? You go downtown tomorrow, pick up a $4 piece of meat, give the man $2, and we'll see you in about 30 days. Because whatever's happening, the producer names the tune and the consumer has got to dance. See, it was all right when America was the producer. Hey, they was dealing with it. It was my way or the highway. But now that America is a consumer, they want everybody to deal with the same things they deal with. They don't know if they want to be Bob Dylan or Matt Dillon. They don't know if they want to be diplomats or continue to threaten everyone with a nuclear nightmare. John Foster Dulles ain't nothing but the name of an airport now. See, this used to be a country where everybody looked forward to tomorrow. And all of a sudden it became the way we were and the summer of 42 and them good old days, them good old boys, them good old days, them good old boys. And all it proved is that America was not ready to deal with today. They were looking for one of their cinema heroes from the 30s or the 40s to run up and save everything at the last minute. Because somebody always came to save America at the last minute. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, 2 strikes, nobody on base, down by 10, don't worry. Somebody will come to save America. Especially in B-movies. You see, when I used to go to a movie as a young man, there was always 2 of them. There was the one that you was paying your money to see, and then there was the second one, which was like a B-movie. This was the one that Reagan was usually in. And it would either be like an oat burner or one of them tremendously patriotic flicks or something with the monkey. Yeah, the monkey was all right. The monkey was cool. But what happened is that America looked back for someone from the 30s or 40s. They were actually looking for someone like John Wayne. But John Wayne was no longer available, and so they had to settle for Ronald the Reagan. And it has given us all the feeling that we are somehow been cast as supporting or non-supporting characters in a B-movie. That'll be all right. Come with us back to those inglorious days before heroes were zeros, before fair was square, when the cavalry came straight away and all American men were like Hemingway, to the days of the wondrous B-movie. The producer, underwritten by all the millionaires necessary, will be Casper, the defensive Weinberger. No more animated a choice available. The director will be Attila the Hague, frantically running around declaring himself in charge and in control, the ultimate realization of the inmates taking over at the asylum. The screenplay will be from a book called Voodoo Economics by George Papadoc Bush. A special introduction by David the Trojan Horse Stockman. The theme song of the very military, Macho Man. Macho Man to the right. A little mood music for saber rattling and selling wars door to door. Remember, we're looking for the closest thing we could get to John Wayne. Cliches abound like kangaroos, courtesy of some spaced out Marlin Perkins. You remember Marlin Perkins? The old guy that used to come on Wild Kingdom and say things like, "There's my assistant Jim wrestling with that alligator. Ooh, look out, Jim." Cliches abound like kangaroos, courtesy of some spaced out Marlin Perkins, a Ray Gun contemporary. Cliches like tall in the saddle, Cliches like itchy trigger finger. Cliches like riding on or off into the sunset. Cliches like get off of my planet by sundown. More so than cliches like he died with his boots on. The man is John Wayne tough. The man is Marine tough. The man is Bogart tough. The man is Cagney tough. The man is cheap steak tough and Bonzo substantial.
Never fooled us for minutes. We're looking around feeling as though it went from Hollywood to hillbillies, from liberal to libelous, from Bonzo to Birchite or born again. Civil rights, women's rights, gay rights, it's all wrong. Call in the cavalry, disrupt this perception of freedom gone wild. God damn it, first one of them wanted freedom, and then they all want freedom. Give them an inch, and they'll take a mile. Nostalgia, that's what America wants, the good old days, when we gave them hell. When the buck stopped somewhere and you could still buy something with it. To a time when movies were in black and white, and so was everything else. Lon Chaney, our man of 1,000 faces, got nothing on Ron. Doug Henning will do the makeup. Special effects by Crazy Glue and Grecian Formula 16. Transportation furnished by the David Rockefeller Remote Control Corporation. Their slogan is, why wait till 1984? You can panic now and avoid the rush. So much for the good news. As Wall Street goes, so goes the nation. And here's a look at the closing stocks. Racism is up, human rights are down. Peace is shaky, war items are hot, the house claims all ties. Jobs are scarce, money is hard to come by, and common sense is at an all-time low with heavy trading. Movies were looking better than ever, and all of a sudden no one is looking because we all feel as though we're starring in a B-movie. And we would have rather had John Wayne. Damn well probably would have done better if we'd have ended up with John Wayne. Help me, y'all. And you don't have to be in no hurry. And you don't ever really have to worry. And you don't have to think about how you feel. Just keep repeating that none of this is real. And if you're thinking that something's wrong, well, just remember that it won't be too long before the director remember him, cause the same.
Nobody is the president. We got somebody over there who's acting like one, but to this point here, what we believe is that nobody actually is in charge. Ready to go?
Hey, this ain't really your life, ain't really your life, ain't really ain't nothing but a movie. This ain't really your life, ain't really your life, ain't really ain't nothing but a movie. This ain't really your life, ain't really your life, ain't really ain't nothing but a movie. This ain't really your life, ain't really your life, ain't really ain't nothing but a movie. This ain't really your life, see, and everybody ought to know that this ain't really your life. Wouldn't do your life like that, say. This ain't really your life, ain't nothing but real, the real, say. This ain't really that silly, this really ain't real. This ain't really your life, say. Everybody ought to know that this ain't really your life, cause this ain't how your life would go. This ain't really your life, ain't nothing but real, the real, say. This ain't really that silly, this really ain't real. This ain't really your life, ain't really your life, ain't nothing but a movie. This ain't really your life, don't worry about nothing, don't worry about nothing. See, this ain't really your life, ain't really your life, ain't really about nothing but a movie. This ain't really your life, ain't really real. This ain't really your life, ain't really nothing but a movie. This ain't really your life, ain't really your life, ain't nothing but a movie. This ain't really your life, ain't really your life, ain't nothing but a movie. This ain't really your life, ain't really your life, ain't nothing but a movie.
And we would have rather had John Wayne. Odds are we probably would have been better off with John Wayne. Take care, big fella.
It's the nation's capital. It's the nation's capital. It's the nation's capital. It's Washington, D.C. It's
the nation's capital. It's the nation's capital. It's the nation's capital. It's Washington, D.C. You know, it's the nation's capital. It's the nation's capital. It's the nation's capital. Washington, D.C. It's the nation's capital. It's the nation's capital. It's the nation's capital. Washington, D.C. It's the capital. Got you feeling capital. The punishment is capital in Washington, D.C. It's the nation's capital. It's the nation's capital. Punishment is capital in Washington, D.C. It's the capital. Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. last time. It's the capital. Got me feeling capital. Punishment is capital. Washington, D.C.
Brother Carl Cornwell on the tenor saxophone. Preceded by Brother Ron Holloway, Brother Vernon James. You know, we choose to start our shows by doing a little bit of this kind of music because every once in a while I have gone into record stores, lately at least, and found our music in a category called miscellaneous. Bothers the hell out of me, you know. You know, the alphabet thing be all right. It'd be under either H or S. You know, they can't get that together either. But the truth is that we feel as though the folks are often too anxious to put things in various little compartments. Too often they are anxious to sweep certain sorts of music under the corner of the rug. We find that this is particularly true with music that they refer to as jazz. Feel as though there have been a lot of folks who have contributed to the culture of our music, who have been responsible for chronicling the times through the music. And that folks who are creative enough to put the music together should be creative enough also to define it. So in defiance of all the trends, we refer to our music as midnight music. Call it the first minute of a new day. Say that we badly need some first day music. Say that we badly need some new ideas and some new things for our music. So what we would like you to do is relax, of course, and enjoy yourself and ask yourself this question about the music. The question that we'd like to have you handle is all of this music and all of these rhythms and all of the things that they do for it become a certain song of music. The question is that jazz? Like, take it there. When y'all say it. Basie was never really commonplace. He was always measures ahead. And Ellington was more than #1 for the music and things that he said. Bird was the word back when tenors was heard from Kansas right up to the press. Lester Young. Billy was really the queen of a scene that keeps echoing on in my head. What it has will surely last, but is that jazz? Sometimes we would rather refer to it as finger-popping music, located at the Aqua Lounge on West 52nd Street in Philly, or a place called Slugs, Lower East Side. Miles has a style that amazes and raises the spirits from deep in your soul. Train struck a vein, laughter and pain, adventures the mind could explore. Stevie and Bob talk of freedom and jobs on an individual way. Playing and singing as long as it's bringing a message in all that it says. What it has will surely last, but is that jazz? Turn the corner here. We overanalyze, we've let others define 1,000 precious feelings from our past. When we express love and tenderness, is that jazz, is that jazz, is that jazz, is that jazz? Robert Gordon on the bass. You got to have some bottom for the music. Makes the top make sense. Gives meaning to the sides. Is that jazz? Disney's been busy while Rover gets us over with notes that go straight to the heart. And Brother Ron gets it on baseline so strong. Sounds seem to glow in the dark. I take pride in what's mine. Is that really a crime when you know I ain't got nothing else? Only millions of sound pick me up when I'm down. Let me salvage a piece of myself. What it has will surely last, but is that jazz? What it has very much.
We understand there's some people out there that's familiar with a rhythm called Wawanko. Wawanko is the African rhythm of rebirth and regeneration. It's named after the snake, because people used to feel that the snake could shed its skin every year and appear to be reborn. So the rhythm for rebirth and regeneration became synonymous with the name for snake. Wawanko, Wawanko got me, got me, got me, got me, got me. Wawanko got me, make me feel like won't let go, won't let go, won't let go. We'd like to include you into our rhythm of rebirth and regeneration for the inspiration that you have given us and for the love that you have shown us over the time that we have been here. We truly appreciate that from the bottom of our hearts. And we thank you not only for the music, but for the good vibrations and for the feeling of brotherhood that has permeated this entire island for the last week or so that we've been around. And we want to thank you with a rhythm we call Wawanko, rhythm of rebirth and regeneration, and the song is called The Bottle. For the Larry McDonald, the rhythm master on percussion, for the Kenny Powell on drummers. Wawanko got me, won't let go. Said the Wawanko got me, it's you. Said the Wawanko got me, won't let go, got me, won't let go. Brother Robert Gordon on the bass. Say, said they get down in you sometime. Yeah, said they get down in you sometime. Make you lose your mind. It's Brady on the guitar. Down in you sometime. Yeah, you said Wawanko got me, won't let go, got me, Wawanko. Brother Glenn Turner on the keyboards. Wawanko got me, won't let go, got me, won't let go, got me to get you. The Wawanko got me. Big up y'all to clap your hands a little bit with us. We're gonna bring in the horns. We got everybody. Everybody say. That black boy over there running scared, his old man in the bottom. Well now, he done quit his 9 to 5, he drank full time, now he's hanging in the bottom. See that black boy over there running scared, his old man got a problem. Who's his news? He done found on damn near everything, his old woman waiting for bottom. Don't you think it's a crime? Get away. Time after time after time, people in the bottom. People living in the bottom. See that sister, so was fine. Folks you started drinking that wine for the bottom. She told me, old man committed a crime, he's doing time, and now she's hanging in the bottom. On the avenue all by herself, so need help from the bottom. I seen her, preacher man trying to help her out, cussed him out, hit him in the head with a bottle. See the be like, don't you think it's a crime? Get away. Time after time after time, people in the bottom. People living in the bottom. Down in his cold in the bottle. Was a doctor helping young girls along. If they went too much on the house problem, they said you take complications. Symptoms of the dollar ego. Said what you doing, doctor, ain't legal. And now he's in the bottom. Say yes, that's
me and won't let go. Said one cold got me and won't let go. Said one cold got me and won't let go. Said one cold got me and won't let go. Celebrate, 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 celebrate. Make it feel good. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Make it feel good. Celebrate, 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 celebrate. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Mama go say, Mama go got me and won't let go. Said Mama go got me and won't let go. Said Mama go got me and won't let go. Said Mama go got me and won't let go. Celebrate, 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 celebrate. Make it feel good. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Don't you like to feel good? Celebrate, celebrate. Celebrate, 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 celebrate. On the Robert Gordon on the bass. Celebrate, the rhythm make you move. The rhythm make you move, it's alright. The rhythm make you move. The rhythm make you move, it's alright. The rhythm make you move. The rhythm make you move, it's alright. The rhythm make you move. The rhythm make you move, it's alright. The rhythm make you move. The rhythm make it, 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 the rhythm make you move, make you move. Go ahead, move, say, call for the move. Somebody say one, that's the first thing in the morning. Two, didn't mean no two, except me and you. Said one, seems like two, seems like one, two, say, hey! Get down in the sunshine. We want to have a horn line from the beginning, start all over, say it again. If you ever come looking for me, you know where I'm bound to be in a bottle. So turn around, look around on any corner. If you see some brother looking like a goner, it's gonna be me. Say a song. Na 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 na. Say na 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 na. Na 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 na. Say na 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 na.
got me, won't let go, got me, won't let go, got me, won't let go. Thank you very much, Jill Scott Heron, their Music Fest. We thank you. We love you. We're one more forward. Thank you. Yes, sirree. That's a great sound of Jill Scott Heron. In the street poet tradition of the United States of America, Black Side.